Today, I will discuss about the excerpts from the Mowindo Epic. Excerpts from the Mowindo Epic is an oral tale from the Democratic Republic of the Congo told by the Nyanga people. The origins and creation of the Mowindo Epic are mostly unknown since the story is only passed down through the oral tradition. The very first literary work of Mowindo was recorded by Daniel B. Boyd and published by the University of California Press in 1969. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is a country located in Central Africa. It is the second largest country in Africa by area and the 11th largest in the world. Approximately 250 African ethnic groups, the Luba, Congo, and Anamongo are some of the later, larger groups. The epic is not typical of African culture, although the Mowindo epic of the Bantu-speaking Nyanga people in the Democratic of Congo, which intermingles prose and verse, has been collected and published, and the long Swahili Utenzi has been compared to epics. So the story of Mowindo epic goes like this. The powerful warrior Shimwindo is the chieftain of Tabondo. When it's time for him to marry, he decided to marry seven wives. Shimwindo warns all his wives to that he had an omen years ago, that he would be replaced on the throne if ever had a son. Therefore, Shimwindo warns his wives only bear him daughters. If any bear him a son, the mother would die. The mother and the son will die. Unfortunately, one of his seventh wife uh, bear a son, and when he know all of this, he he went very far away so that his son will not see him until his seventh wife gave birth to a baby boy. She named it Muindo, which referred to the little one just born he walked. Muindo is so powerful, like his father. When he heard that his father wants to kill him, he searched for his for his father, and he wants to see his father not because he wants to kill him, but because he wants to prove that he deserves to be his child. As I read the story, I realized that some part of it is similar to Lamang. What makes it similar to Lamang is that Muwindo also have his power when he was a baby. Imagine a child or a baby having a power. He could do whatever he wants. He could fight powerful men, even his own father. Muwindo's journey started when he decided to look for his father. Muwindo's journey started when he decided to look for his father because his father doesn't like him. Shimwindo, his father, didn't want to have a son because he believed that time will come, his son will overpower him. That's why Shimwindo left their town to Bondo and went to place very far from Windo. Windo is referred to as little one, just born who walks. These songs contain some of the essential food and things in the Nyanga household. Some of the things mentioned in the poem are meat, cattle, jars, goats, and many more. These things only shows how rich the culture of Nyanga people was. The moral in the story is that there is no bad thing that is happening to us. In the case of Shimwindo, we must not reject his son because it's a God gift. Whether a person is able or not, we should accept them and we should accept and love them. Every life is precious. We should be thankful in all things that we have. That's all. Good day, sir. Today we will discuss about the excerpts from the Manora. The story of the Manora started when the six Kinari, together with Manora, went to the mortal world. Accidentally, the Princess Manora met a man in that place, and he was Prince Suton. Prince Suton and Princess Manora got married. Excerpt from the Manora is a legendary play from Thailand. Thailand is located at the southern Asia, bordering the Andaman Sea and the Gulf of Thailand, southeast of Burma. The country's constitutional monarchy, Thailand literally means free land or land of the free people. The country is unique in Southeast Asia in that the king and everyone in the palace believed that the Princess Manora escaped from this from their place until the day of the purification came. Everyone was busy preparing for the last day of purification ceremony of Princess Manora. While filling their jars to the stream's edge, the seven maids were talking about the princess. They said that the princess married a mortal when she escaped from the palace. They can't believe that the Princess Manora married immortal because no more mortal can even come to their place, Greyland. All of the maids leave except for the seventh maid because she falls and spills the contents of her jar. Suton heard the conversation, and then the seventh maid saw Suton. He helps the maid carry the water. The maid didn't know that the man helping her was Suton. Then they talk about the event in the palace. When Suton heard that it is the last day of the ceremony of Manora, he was very thankful because finally he could see her loved one. Meanwhile, in the palace, King Tumaraja, together with his wife Queen Chanchinari and his six Kinari, Manora's sister, was waiting for the arrival of Princess Manora. Princess Manora came into place with tears in his eyes. She said that she only remembered the things that she had gone through. She said that when when the Naga caught her, she felt that she would die. And she also remembered when she married Suton. She told her parents that Suton was very handsome and brave because he saved her from Purohit who wanted to kill her. The king ordered his men to fight for that evil man Purohit. While in the case of Suton, although it is impossible for a mortal to come into their place, the king said that Suton should come into their palace. Then Suton heard this. He entered the palace full of excitement to see Manora and to get know her family. The king was shocked. He couldn't believe it. To test the love of Suton to Manora, the king told his seven kinari to form a circle around Suton. Suton dances each one of them briefly. Then he dances with Manora, recognizing her easily. They dance perfectly together. The king delighted and they celebrate.